Hi, this is Sue from Port of Grace Caregiver Support. And today I'm going to talk about everybody's favorite subject, nutrition. I don't think that this is going to be what you would expect in a talk about nutrition. I'm going to kind of boil things down to the basics and show you just one tip for increasing greatly the nutrition that your person you care for receives. So, if you think about what's been out there these days about nutrition, you've got vegan, vegetarian, paleo, keto, raw vegetarian, starch solution, blah, 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 blah. And they all say they're the best ones, right? Eat this way. But there is one thing they all agree on, and that is eating green vegetables, eating greens is good for you to do, and you should do it. But do we do it? Aha, there's the question. And sometimes people are caring for somebody that simply will not eat greens at all or much in the way of vegetables. Some people, all they like is corn for a vegetable. Um, yeah, well, it's a vegetable, but it's not the best one. So how can you get those nutrients from green vegetables into the person you care for? Well, I'm going to talk about smoothies. I'm not going to do it the way you think I am. So here's my smoothie I've been drinking this morning. This is what I do because you know what? Have you ever you go to the grocery store and you have all the best intentions and man, we're going to eat healthy now and you buy kale and chard and spinach and all this good stuff and then it sits in your refrigerator and rots because you kind of lose your enthusiasm. Yeah, maybe I'm the only one that ever does that. I don't know, but I suspect other people do it too. So this is my smoothie I'm drinking. It's good. And I made a lot. And it's a green smoothie, but it isn't green. How do I do that? Huh? Yeah, because some people it's like they look at a green smoothie and say, I'm not drinking that. You can either put it in something where it's not seen, or you can make it so it's not green. So how do I do that? Um, well, I don't use the greens themselves. So first of all, you have to have a blender. And if you're going to make green smoothies out of actual kale, you have to have a really strong, powerful blender like a Vitamix or a Blendtec. They're like the only two that'll really do the job. Some people say those ninjas do a good job. I haven't checked it out, but I know that a Vitamix really works. But they're really expensive too. So, what if you don't want to go spend $450 on a blender? Um, you can do what I do, and you can use any blender, including the small personal blenders. I have a small personal blender that I use that is Hamilton Beach. It's cheap, or any blender if you want to make more. I have a Vitamix. I use a Vitamix, but if I'm only making enough for me, I like to use that small blender. So what do I put in it so that I can use a blender that's not a super blender? Well, here's what I put in it. A banana, strawberries, blueberries, frozen. They're frozen because it makes it kind of like a shake, when you drink it. Pecans, just a little bit, a few pecans. And then I put in something that's going to look backwards on the screen. It's called Barley Max. That's green. This is berry flavored Barley Max, so it has a little stevia in it, and it's got berry flavor in it, and it's made out of juiced barley grass that's dehydrated at a low temperature. So the fiber is removed, the juice is separated out, and it's sprayed into the air and it's dehydrated at a low temperature. So that is very concentrated nutrition. You couldn't eat barley grass and get all the nutrition that you get out of this. And then I also use, to make the color nicer, and because it's good for you, I use Beet Max, which is the same principle. It is beets that are juiced. The juice is separated out and dehydrated at a low temperature, and it gives you this powder. Now, you don't have to use these brands. This is what I use. But if you go to Walmart and you go to Costco, they have big containers of green powders that you can use. And that's probably cheaper than what these are. I'm going to link these, but you can just go to the store and get these powders. And you've probably seen ads on TV for Beet Max. You can use Beet Max. You don't have to use these things that I use. They work just the same way. So we've got bananas, strawberries, blueberries, pecans, green powder, and red powder. So between the blueberries and the red powder, that's what makes it a much better color than green. I also add a few things that you might want to think about. I add some turmeric and some ginger. They're both anti-inflammatory. I use actual chunks of root of turmeric and ginger, but you can just use turmeric powder, ginger powder, just a little bit, because you definitely taste it in there. And then another thing to consider, because it's high in omega-3s and it's just a good thing to eat, is using some flax meal in there. I use just water to so it'll all mix in, just water. But if the person that you're caring for needs more calories, you can use some almond milk or some soy milk or hemp milk, those kinds of things. Or you can add more pecans. Probably chop them up a little first if you don't have a crazy super blender, but add nuts to it. It gives calories. They're good for the person, or more flax. But you can get more calories in by adding those nut products. You can use peanut butter. I love my smoothies with peanut butter in them. I think that's really good. Or you can use almond butter. Almonds are really hard to chop up, but you can use almond butter in the smoothies. So I'm going to put links to things below, including my Hamilton Beach personal blender, which works fine for me. And your job, should you choose to accept it, is to experiment with these things. Experiment with different things that you put in the smoothies. You can put whatever the person you care for likes. You can put frozen peaches, you can put frozen pineapple, anything that they like, you can throw in a smoothie and make it something that they enjoy. And then they will be getting their greens. When I use Barley Max, I put a whole tablespoon in for a day's worth of smoothie. And I put about a half a tablespoon of the Beet Max. You'll have to look at the directions if you buy something from Walmart or Costco and see what they recommend for a day's worth and try to get that in the smoothie. And then don't necessarily serve it in large containers. Okay, some people, they just don't want to eat anything. Although this is pretty nice, cool, sweet, and refreshing. But if you put it in small glasses, oftentimes they're more likely to drink it because it looks doable. This doesn't look doable, right? So try using a very small container. And I would say the same thing about just helping your person to drink more water is don't give them a huge container of water and say, here, drink this, and you're thinking, well, they can just sip on it all day, but they're thinking that looks like, that's a whole lake. I can't drink that. And so they don't even try. If you just have a very small container to put water in and hand them the water and say, here, drink this, and it's only 2 swallows, but you do it period a lot of times throughout the day, that will get a lot of water into the person. So these are just some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way and that I use myself. And I hope it's helpful. I hope that you're all surviving this whole COVID thing, that you do wear masks and you don't just are, it's become a political issue wearing a mask or don't wear a mask. Maybe I should do another video on different kinds of masks and what I have found that works well for me so that I have it handy when I go out and it's comfortable and it doesn't hurt my ears and I can breathe well. So I'll think about doing that. In the meantime, God be with you all. God bless you all. God strengthen you all in the work that you do. And know that you are appreciated. Even if the person isn't good at expressing it, and in fact may express the exact opposite, underneath it all, you're appreciated. Thank you.